Very, very well said, John. I am glad that you took this interview, and this has been a fantastic conversation. I think we have time for one more question, and we always end these interviews on a question like this. So feel free to answer it however you'd like. What advice do you have for young people?
Wow. So I have a son. My oldest son now is a freshman at college, and sending him off was a gift, but very hard. I had no idea how hard it would be to hug my own son goodbye and leave him in the dormitory. Who knows? This little boy that I've had at my side for 18 years is now beginning to lead his own life. And I wrote, I've never shared this, but I wrote an 8.5 page letter to him. It's basically a love letter. It's something that I wish my dad had been able to do when he still had the ability to speak and write. My dad has Parkinson's disease. He modeled a love letter his entire life to me, but I never received these words. And I knew one day my son might long for the words, like the wisdom that his father had for him. I wrote my son this long letter. And one of the expressions I used a couple times that I learned from my mother was this. It's this expression, this too shall pass. And it was the sign that used to hang on our kitchen wall at home, this too shall pass. And I think my mother hung it up. My father was a business owner. All the kids were fine academically and athletically, and we had friends all around. So the sun was shining on the O'Leary family. I think it was her reminder to all of us. Yeah, but this too shall pass. Subsequently, we've dealt with mental illness. We've had suicide ideation. My father got Parkinson's disease. One of her kids, the one you're talking to, got burned and burned down the entire house. 15 years after that house fire, my mom and dad had a separate house fire. Their home burned out a second time. They're dealing with financial hardship. And yet the sign still lives on in their lives. This too shall pass. And so, what I would tell any young person who I've not yet rocked to sleep with this long answer is this is a fact of life. Are you ready for it? This too shall pass. So if you feel like you're on top of the world right now, I'm glad, but recognize it's a moment. And if you feel like you are beat down by the world right now, I get it because I've been there. But in both cases, this too shall pass. So be grateful for what you've got. Have courage to keep stepping forward. Recognize that something is going on even bigger than what's taking place in your own life, but you've got to be part of it. You've got to actively engage. So keep showing up and recognize the best is yet to come.
This too shall pass. John, that is a beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Honored, man. I just appreciate you and I'm grateful to spend some time with you.
Absolutely. That is going to conclude our conversation with John O'Leary. John, thank you again for your time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Thank you, Drew.